What up, 12s? Adam here, coming at you with another quick vid here with my good buddy Phil Leidick, host and creator of our What If program here on the Seahawks podcast channel. Phil, I know you got an interesting concept today. How you doing and what you got?
I'm doing well. Adam. There's so many what if things going on all around the Seahawks multiverse. I guess everybody's what ifing, so maybe I'm just not needed right now. So since
this is when you're desperately needed. Yeah.
So many what ifs. We're not doing what if. We're just going to do something different where I ask you some things about our 2022 rookies that are going to be what I'm calling sophomore second year players this year. Yeah. I think it'll be fun.
Sweet. I love it. So it sounded like it was whether or not they're going to take a jump, they're going to slump, or, I mean, do you not really know? And you're stumped. Like, is that basically the gig here?
Yes, Adam, you're the ump, and you're going to decide if they are going to take a jump or they are going to slump, or you're kind of just stumped. It could go either way. So
gotcha. Well, it's talk yourself into it season. So right now, I think everybody's going to crush it. End of episode. We did it.
That's what I thought would happen. That's what most people are hoping for, Adam, is that you're predicting jumps for everybody. Because, every second-year player, they make that big jump that Pete talks about.
Every single time for life. Yeah. Nobody can go backwards or not make it. That's for sure.
Okay. So, honesty. Here we go. We'll go right from our final pick last year. Round 7, pick 233. We picked DAREKE Young, the receiver. He made a jump from Division II to the NFL. He's athletic. He's versatile. He had 0 catches until week 18, but he was a factor blocking as a fullback from time to time. Stood out in kick coverage, you may remember. 5 tackles, down some punts inside the 10. Adam, is DAREKE Young going to make a jump slump, or are you stumped about this guy this year?
I think he's going to make a jump on special teams. I think he's going to be even more impactful as a gunner in kickoff coverage and punt coverage. But in terms of offensively, boy, I think it's going to be tough for him unless D. Eskridge goes out and does D. Eskridge things and gets injured quickly here and opens that door at wide receiver 4 a little more for somebody like DAREKE Young. But I think it's going to be tough for him to see the field offensively.
Okay. And hopefully D is what they keep saying. My concern is they're hyping up D because they want to trade him, but maybe that's not true. I don't know.
I know it's hard not to fall into the hype, man. Like that's what I'm just a sucker for D. Eskridge. Okay. Yeah. Like that's just, I know I am. I know I'm the mark. And maybe this will be the year where I finally quit D forever, or maybe he comes on and looks amazing. We'll see.
The talent is exciting. You have to say. And DAREKE has some talent, so he could go either way.
Yes.
Bo Melton, he's gone. He left for the Packers last year. That was our pick 229. So slump. That's an easy slump choice.
Yeah.
Okay. TYREQ Smith, outside linebacker, round 5, pick 158, out with injury all last season. Gives us a bonus year of potential team control, I believe, if he works out. Sounds like, of course, he's looking really good in camp, Adam. He's looking good in camp. Big battle to make the roster at a competitive position. Our outside linebacker, is he going to jump, slump, or are you stumped about him, Adam?
Biggest jump in this rookie class. And it's not so much of how big of a Smith believer that I am. It's more that we're talking about expectations and where the bar's already been set. Well, he missed all of last year with the injury.
Bar.
It's a very low bar. So it's very easy to make a massive jump. But with that said, his pedigree coming into last year's draft was a higher round player than he was drafted, and a guy with the right size in the production at OSU when he played there. There's reasons to be excited about TYREQ Smith. I'm going to be very interested to see how this preseason looks for him. I think he could make a big impact.
Okay, so no limbo for him. He's going full David Lee Roth. You're ready for TYREQ. Okay. Also, round 5 picks earlier. This is going to be a tough one here, Adam. We know who was picked in round 5 at 153. TARIQ Woolen, cornerback, 6 picks, 1 for a pick 6, 48.7 passer rating against, which was first in the NFL. Allowed at least 2 touchdowns on busted coverages, however. forced a fumble, recovered 3 fumbles, blocked a field goal that led to a Mike Jackson scoop and score. TYREK Woolen, what do you got for him? Jump, slump, or are you stumped?
That one's actually a very tough one because I think statistically it's going to look like he slumped. I think it's unlikely he ends up with 6 picks again this year or more. That's very difficult to do. In not only that, now that he has a reputation for being who he is, they're going to try to pick on the rookie a lot, I imagine, there with Witherspoon. So he may not even see very many balls. So on the one hand, you can say slump, but just statistically speaking, however, I don't know that his play is going to go downhill a huge amount. So I guess it depends on how you look at it. I'm gonna say stump, man. That's a tough one because again, it just depends on your perspective.
If his passer rating stays the same, I'm totally happy. If he doesn't move at all, I'm totally
I don't honestly care what the interception rate is for Woolen. I just want him to be sticky.
Yeah.
And somebody that they just are either afraid to throw on or just literally can't.
So here's the question, Adam, just quickly. I know we got to keep moving. Who do you think we're going to have Woolen and Spoon start on the outside? And then when we have 3 corners, you think they're going to move Spoon inside and put Mike Jack on the outside? Or do you expect we're going to do a lot more big nickel? What do you kind of think?
That's an interesting take. I hadn't thought about it in those terms. I'd thought about just putting Mike Jackson in at nickel. So
no, he's an outside corner. Spoon actually in the workouts gets a lot more nickel work. Like he's been doing some JSN.
Yeah.
And he even in college did some nickel work. That's why I threw that out there. But I was just wondering if you thought.
No, I like it. I like the thought of it. My guess is that, boy, that's tough because they are so loaded at corner and they are so loaded at safety. Yeah. It all depends on Jamal Adams' health.
If Adams is there, then you kind of expect they're going to have Love come in and Adams is going to move down onto the nickel area. Wouldn't you? Probably more than likely,
or even vice versa. Yeah, just because Love has a lot of experience playing nickel as well. So
round four. I know you had a lot of back and forth on this fella. Pick 109, also a cool name. COBY BRYANT played slot for the first time in his football life last year. Former Jim Thorpe Award winner, had some struggles. He gave up 110.2 passer rating and a couple teeters. Didn't really seem great in the run game for my eye and from a few others, but he was good on forcing fumbles. Do you think he's going to make a jump this year?
So COBY BRYANT might be the one where I have the biggest disconnect with a lot of other 12s in terms of how I view him. I wasn't particularly impressed last year. People talk about him as being like one of those hits in the draft. And I mean, he was out there and he was okay.
He played
playing out of his natural position and just doesn't have the quicks to play the slot. He just doesn't. And you saw him just get roasted time and time again. In, like you said, Phil, I agree with you. I don't know that he was amazing in the run game either. And then you think about the type of competition he's going to be facing this year with all of the talent in the defensive backfield. Again, another guy that I think is going to have a hard time seeing the field. So I'm going with slump. I think you're going to see less COBY BRYANT this year.
Yeah.
What about you, man? How do you feel about COBY?
No,
because I know that's a polarizing opinion about him.
Unfortunately, I'm kind of with you. I think he'll be a fine depth piece because he can play anywhere. Okay. I just was bummed that he got ran on pretty easily and he wasn't really a difference maker in the passing game other than poking the ball out after they secured it. I was kind of bummed. I was hoping for a little bit more from him. I hate to say that. So he is a candidate for making a jump because there's a lot of ways he could improve, but I don't know if he's got the talent in his body to be an NFL difference maker like I was hoping. But man, hopefully nobody's cussing at their podcast right now or at the screen. But I think he'll
almost every time we got to make the caveat, Phil, like, okay, so I don't know that this guy's going to be great this year. I hope I'm wrong. And I hope he proves us wrong. I hope he does amazing and he's a Hall of Famer. Like, I feel like we almost have to say that every time.
That's what we hope.
Yeah. Like a trigger warning or something for some people. Like, you know what? Like, it's okay to not think every single thing is going to be puppies and rainbows. It's okay.
let's put it this way. I think it's good that he's going to have a hard time seeing the field because I think he's a fine player. I just don't think he's a difference maker. And I think a bunch of difference makers will block him. And if that happens, that's great. Yep. Maybe he steps up. I'd love to be surprised on that.
Absolutely.
Okay, round 3, pick 72, Mr. Abraham Lucas, our right tackle. He was 3rd in total sacks allowed last year for the position with 9. Was battling a knee injury and apparently some shoulder issues in the second half of the season. Did dish out some tasty pancakes from time to time. A more consistent run blocker than Cross, people said. But he did allow one less pressure than a game even. He allowed one less pressure a game than Cross. But his run blocking kind of faded down the stretch, and I'm guessing that's due to him being banged up. Which direction is Abraham Lucas going to go, Adam? Jump or slump?
Big jump, all the way jump, all the jumps. Abraham Lucas is my favorite player from that draft. It's not even close.
Okay.
I just can't say enough about the guy. You talked about him giving up as many sacks as he did last year. I really wish I could think of the YouTuber's name off the top of my head here. I think it was the Football Scout. He just did a video regarding Abe Lucas and his play and did a breakdown about some of those things in pass protection. And it turns out that, those 9-10 sacks, however you rate it, like not all of those were really on him. If you really go back and look at it. So,
and he did have to go against Bosa, which isn't fun.
Yeah. You know what? Your first go around with one of the Bosas is going to be a tough go. It's just going to be a tough go, but he still handled himself, man. And he's awesome. His technique and some of the aggressive play that he uses as a tackle is just a joy to watch. I'm an enormous fan of Abe Lucas.
Huge jump. Abe Lucas. Love it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Round 2, pick 41. This is going to be a tough one to call here. I think this could be you could go a lot of ways. Ken Walker II, a running back, 1,050 yards on the ground, 9 touchdowns, 27 catches, 165 yards. He did struggle a little bit in pass pro, so that's an area you can make a jump. One of the best big play running backs in the league last year. Did struggle to get consistent positive plays, so there's a place he could make a jump. Possibly because his O-line was playing kind of banged up the end of the year, so I think that's going to be a factor as well. Which direction you see Ken Walker in his second year? Which direction you see him going, Adam?
It's going to be a jump, and for a couple reasons. Number one, he's the starting running back out of the gate this year, rather than sitting behind Penny early as he did last year and limiting some of his opportunities. So number one, he's just going to see the rock a bit more. Number two, you talked about the places that he can improve, and you nailed it with the consistency part. And just instead of dancing around a little bit and trying to get it to the outside 80% of the time, all right, let's get a foot in the ground and make a quick decision and get downhill and pick up that 4 or 5 yards that's just begging to be had. If you just put your head down and go. I think that's something that he can do a lot better at. It's something that he even talked about towards the end of last season that he was improving on. And then you think about it in terms of Gabe Jackson's gone. They bring in Bradford in the draft. Whether you're a big Phil Haynes believer, like between one of the two of them, I think that's an upgrade at guard. And then just whoever it is that comes out at the center position, whether that's Evan Brown or Olu, that's a massive upgrade just in terms of size and strength in the run game. And I think that helps out Ken Walker a ton. Plus now he's got Charbonnet to come in and give him a blow every now and then and, try to keep him healthy and split up the carries a little bit. I like it. I think that Ken Walker takes a jump, but it's probably not going to be quite as big as maybe some people are expecting. Like if he ended up around 1,300 yards or so, that's enormous huge season. That's amazing.
Considering all the players in that backfield. Yep.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
And you heard Tyler Lockett, I think it's this week, he was talking about we're really working hard at improving our screen game. So
yes, thank goodness.
I don't see why Geno couldn't be a good screen throwing quarterback. I don't see why not.
No, unless it's somehow a Pete Carroll problem, because we haven't ever been able to do it. So it's time. I love to hear it. I hope it's true.
We did it with Tavares. I thought we could do some screens with Tavares. I always kind of thought it was our quarterback issue until last year with Geno, and then I was just kind of like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, it is interesting. So there's there's an area that Waldron can jump in right there. Is the screen game. Yeah.
I think there's a good chance. Okay. Other round 2 pick right before Walker, we had BOYE, MAFE, defensive end / outside linebacker for us. He proved to be a better run defender than everybody expected at the time of his draft. 37 tackles out there on the edge. He did get 10 pressures, which isn't awesome. 8.3% pass rush win rate, 3 sacks. So he's kind of meh-ish, at least as a rookie in pass rush. But what do you expect on an edge defender? I don't think it's common that edge defenders come in and just dominate the pass rush their first year. So I think there's some space here. I'm kind of expecting which way you might go, but I don't want to tell you how to pick. Do you expect MAFE to make a jump or to slump, or are you stumped about him, Adam?
I am legit stumped. And it's really not because I have a lack of faith in MAFE or didn't like what I saw out of him last year.
Yeah.
I thought he was the superior edge setter in the run game out of almost all the defensive ends.
I think everybody thought that, right?
Yeah. And, you know, his pass rush, it's coming along, and it's something that he was known for coming out of college, right? So yeah, that could definitely be a place that he picks it up. The part that stumps me about it is the drafting of Derek Hall, and then just seeing him get the highest guaranteed money ever for a 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
Like they really love this guy.
They do.
And they must think that he's going to be a big deal for this team right out of the gate. So,
but it is a rotation spot. I mean, you don't just.
It is. Yeah. And he's going to be competing with, you know, Nwosu, Taylor, Smith, even Jones on the outside now and then. Yeah. And it could be in Hall. It could be tough to find reps there. I think he's earned the opportunity, but man, it's hard to say jump, because then that means that maybe Hall didn't work out quite as well as we'd hoped or something like that. So I'm going with stumped. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Do you expect him just to be out there on 1st down and short yardage, and then on the big pass rushing plays, the other guys are going to be in there? I'm wondering if he could make a jump with his pass rush technique. You just haven't heard it or seen it. There's other guys that are more explosive in the pass rush. I think he's going to have a hard time getting shots at the quarterback, don't you?
It seems to be the trend of his career to this point. Now, oftentimes, like we said, you come into this sophomore season, and there's guys that just make this, you know, big leap because that's
a position that they often make a huge jump.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm stumped. I would say more likely to jump than to slump.
Okay. Final one. Chris Cross makes you want to jump, right? But we got Charles Cross. Yeah. Our pick number 9, highest pick we'd had in a long time until this year, left tackle. He did allow 48 pressures last year. That's not ideal. So hopefully he can make a jump there. I'm hoping you're predicting that for us, Adam. That was the 3rd highest in the entire NFL. He did prove available throughout the year, which is awesome for a rookie. And he was mostly solid. Finished strong, only allowed 4 pressures in his last couple games. And you may remember that was against the Whiners and the Lambs. So that's definitely saying something. Gave up 7 sacks, which isn't terrible for a rookie. Charles Cross, Adam, final man. Is he going to make a jump or a slump in his sophomore season?
I think it's going to be a jump, and it's going to be a jump that most people won't notice, because that's what happens when you do good as an offensive lineman. You don't get noticed. It's the best compliment in the world, right? Because you did your job and nobody's mad at you. And I think the reason why it's a jump is the area that he needs to improve is quite literally about the easiest place to improve as an NFL player. And it's simply in strength. It seemed like his technique was very good. Yeah. His awareness was good, all that stuff. And his hand placement, everything. But where he tended to get beat was in the strength game and getting bull rushed and things like that. So a full offseason now to just concentrate on being an NFL player and get bigger, stronger as you grow into your body as a young man, as he is.
That's an age to get some man strength, right? That's an age to get some man strength.
Yeah, exactly. Just get some growing man strength. And I think it'll happen for him in, 2 tackles. I just couldn't be more bullish on it, mainly because you talked about MAFE, and that a spot that people often take that jump. Well, offensive linemen, they don't generally slump. Like, if they're pretty good out of the box, they usually kind of have that steady, consistent growth towards awesome, right?
A good point, yeah.
Yeah, that's just one of those positions where that seems to happen. Now, like as opposed to say receiver, where you see things go all over the map, or even quarterback, or even running back, a lot of the skill positions, those are harder to have a very steady trajectory. So yeah, I'm high on Cross. I'm high on Lucas. I think this offensive line is going to be a strength of the team this year.
If they both take a jump, our offense will take a jump, right?
If they both become not all pros, but Pro Bowlers this next year, which I think is in range. I think that's in range.
That would be
then
awesome.
This offense has an excellent shot of being a top 5 offense.
It does.
Not a top 10, it's like top 5, maybe even top 3. Yeah. Like that's the type of impact that those guys can have.
Cool. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to see all the rookies like everybody. But one of the things I'm most excited is we had such a good draft class. Can they be steady and make jumps? Because if they do, there's no reason why. Because they're all in really important positions. All these, almost all these guys, other than just a couple. If they make a jump, our team will make a jump. That's all I had. I enjoyed your answers. I hope that the listeners did. Maybe they can put where they disagreed with us. I'm sure we'll get some anti-our Kobe take, which I hope so, because I'd love to hear the other side of that. Other comments you might have where you just wanted to add something to it. We love to see the YouTube comments. That's what I come back for, Adam, sometimes, is to see what the YouTube comments. I don't know about you.
Yeah, the comments are fun. You guys are amazing as listeners, and we appreciate you a ton. So be sure to, give the like button a little boop there, and subscribe would be nice. That's always good. We just cracked 3,000 subs the other day, and it's awesome. Continuing to grow quickly, and couldn't thank you guys enough for that. And one of the big reasons for that is I get to thank guys like Phil here for being a part of the team and coming up with these cool ideas like this during the doldrums. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. And I think with that, there's only one thing left to say. Go
Hawks.